Who knew that such a simple colorway can get someone so excited? Man, they're getting better every damn time. Yo, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 1 OG, what do they call these now? OG High 85, not just OG High. Now real quick, I did want to give a big thank you and shout out to my good friend Jay, also known as Shanghai Soul on Instagram. This shoe has already released overseas, whereas it has not yet released here in the States. And thanks to Jay, I was able to grab these for retail. And just in case you are unaware of who he is, for one, you can follow him on social, which you can see right now on the screen, or you can also get to know him because we've featured him on the channel before, and we actually did a full-on sneaker discussion about the differences between being a US sneakerhead versus an overseas sneakerhead, more specifically in his area of Shanghai. But anyways, I was already excited for these because it's an original colorway as well as another 85 cut Air Jordan 1 High, and you can't go wrong with like a black white. Super clean, super simple, matches with damn near anything in your closet. Doesn't matter what you wear, this will probably go with it. But once I got them in hand, I got more excited, which I just think is really cool because when you're like me and you just see lots of shoes all the time, like sometimes the fun gets zapped from you just a little bit because, you know, you see sneakers. All day, every day. This is what we do. Now, as far as the shoe in this particular colorway, this again is an original colorway from 1985. 1985 saw a slew of Air Jordan 1 colorways, which is really interesting because we were just talking about the Air Jordan 2 not too long ago. And I was explaining in that video that that shoe only had two original colorways. It was the Chicago with the black midsole, and then the Chicago that are all white and red. Talking about nicknames, like people call these the pandas now.
Come on, man, I just want to eat my breakfast.
Nicknames are weird. That's why when we were growing up, we just called them by the colorway. Which 13s you want? You know, the black and white ones. Simple. But again, this is a 1985 original, very simple, especially for back then, because this was one of the shoes like the Nike Dunk that brought color into the shoe game. So it's really cool to see more of a muted look to the original shoe. This colorway was released twice as a retro. The first time was actually in 2008. I guess it was the celebration of 23 Air Jordans, you know what I mean? It was for the Air Jordan 23, so they released a countdown pack leading up to the launch of the Air Jordan 23. That might be my favorite time as a sneakerhead. It was so much fun every month being excited, being like, yo, I cannot wait for the Carmine 6s to come back out. You know what I mean? Like, it was so dope, dude. But anyways, this was the colorway that was featured in the countdown pack. And then when you fast forward to 2014, they released one more time as an OG High. And then now again as the 85 cut version of the shoe in 2023. And I will say that when I compare these to one of the previous versions, this is what I'm talking about. This is almost perfect. The collar, like the straightness, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but this one dips in kind of like the regular OG Highs. And I was complaining about this in our video that we did on the Vibe Remake Lab Air Jordan 1, which is a kind of like a bespoke or whatever, where it's like a handmade by some dude over in China. He like takes like special orders, so then he'll hand make your shoe and then he'll send them off to you and everything. The shoes themselves are fantastic. And it, to me at the time, was the best Air Jordan 1. It just so happened that it was not made by Air Jordan or the Jordan brand. Now, I actually thought, like, after I saw this, I was like, did they tweak these because I talked so much? And so I went back and I looked like when we uploaded it, because I was like, there's no way that this shoe production wise started around that time frame. I uploaded that video back in August last year. This shoe, at least my pair, the production date starts in August. I'm not saying that I had anything to do with this. I'm just saying that if they took that personally, they fixed and it's awesome. This collar right here is so damn straight, it's amazing. It looks very close to the original 1985 version of the shoe, especially when you pull up images. Outside of these being crispy and new, you would never know. Another thing that they actually fixed is something that you probably won't notice unless you have a couple of these in hand, but the collar and everything, man. This one and my Georgetown joints, because I don't have every pair of 85s, like a lot of them like are great, but like they just are unattainable. But these ones right here are one of the ones that I do have along with the Georgetowns, and the collar area is a little thick, little heavily padded, especially if you're comparing it to an 85 version of the Air Jordan 1. This one right here though is right up the actual 85's alley, where they thinned out a lot, and again with the straight collar back, like this feels like 85. I wish it came in a regular box, and I'm not trying to nitpick, I'm just saying like that would have been like the icing on the cake, like that classic black and red. If it would have been dingy, I'm talking about the box, if it would have been dingy like the Lost and Founds or like the Reimagined 3s, this would have been like one of the best releases of the year just based off of nostalgia alone. out. Now, a couple of the things that they do have that are much like the originals is that they do come with an extra set of laces. I believe the originals came with the white ones in, whereas this one flips it up a little bit. So they come with the black laces in, but they also provide you with the white just in case you want to switch it out. And they also come with the hang tag right here that I'm in love with these things. I think that they're so cool. This is like my favorite part about any kind of sneaker is all the tech info. I think it's fantastic. Like, this is just the way to go. I really wish that they would do this with every shoe. I know that they've been stepping their game up, but I'm talking about like every brand should be doing this always. Now, speaking of the tech specs, the tooling is of the 1985 variety. So this tooling right here is a little bit different than the molds that you see on the typical Air Jordan 1 Mid, Air Jordan 1, or should I list them all?
No.
There's too many, but basically the Air Jordan 1 Mid or the Air Jordan 1 High OG, this is more like the original. So it's just slightly redesigned. It's a little bit thinner. It's kind of like a Dunk instead of like a modern Air Jordan 1. I think it's awesome. The radial traction's still there. You can play in these if you wanted to because they are made more closely to the actual pairs that were released in 85 and what we saw on MJ's feet. So they're board blasted inside. The cup sole is awesome. And then inside the cup sole is a polyurethane wedge with a heel air sole unit. And they also come with this beautiful thing. Like, this is the best thing ever. It is so comfortable. My 85 joints are so comfortable. Like, once you start wearing them in, I love them, dude. Like, this is perfection. The little sample tag down there, they finally changed it a little bit. They were saying like the white and red joints, the actual, like the first colorway that released, these ones actually say white and black. So that's really cool. This is March 29th, 1982. What is March 29th, 1982? I need to know. So on March 29th, 1982, a 19-year-old North Carolina freshman, Michael Jordan, makes a 16-foot jump shot with 15 seconds left to give the Tar Heels a 63-62 win over Georgetown, the previous colorway, I think. Was there another 85 that released after that?
Not on this channel.
Okay, there you go. Which sealed the deal for their NCAA tournament championship win. So that's really interesting. I guess that's why that's there. Why that's tied to an Air Jordan 1 all of a sudden, I don't know. He was wearing Converse back then. So yeah, that's pretty cool though. Now, I was trying to look through my my old magazine that busted up on me when did we do this? Was this for the Heritage ones? I was looking through here because I was trying to find an original picture of an original pair without having to like actually like look online and like take pictures. The thing that I don't like about doing that is that it's really hard to source because the way that people take things. And I prefer to source because it's the right thing to do. And half the time, I don't know where the hell the picture online originated from. It's just Google. But anyways, what I was pulling this out for was not only to just try to find the original colorway, but also to kind of like emphasize where one of the things that I feel like they still can work on a little bit, even though they did rework it a little, the toe could look a little bit better, although there are pairs that look very similar. But this is the way that I kind of like remember the shoe looking, which is with a slightly wider toe box, you know what I mean? And since we're here, and since I feel like Nike and Jordan do watch our videos.
Hello, my name is Elder Price.
But I wanted to make a plea right here and right now, so if you guys are listening and if you want to be nice and actually do what I'm requesting, then please make these two retros. The first one is those bad boys right there, man. Look at those. You tell me that those wouldn't fit in with today's style and trends? I think that they would. This is called the Jordan Light, and it was a team shoe that also looked like a casual shoe. And at the top there, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got the Air Jordan 14 emblem, and it was actually a removable pin, which was cool. And then the next one is this guy right here. This is the Eddie Jones Jumpman Pro Quick. You guys have released this one already, and multiple weird colorways that never originally released. So please do that one too. I would really appreciate it. Now, as far as the upper is concerned, this is where I feel like they not only like elevated just the 85 shape overall, but they also elevated the shoe itself because I really like the materials here. There's been many complaints over the 85 cuts that the leather's too stiff, which it is, but it's because it's a different type of leather for basically performance. So this is supposed to be a closer representation of what MJ actually wore and what was actually being sold on shelves back in the 80s. And I don't know if you guys know this, but as far as the US is concerned and consumer and sportswear products, you have to have a certain thickness of leather for it to be considered like a performance leather. So the stuff that we have that's on the regular Jordan 1 mids, lows, the OG highs and all of that stuff, those things can be great, they can be trash, but one thing is very consistent is that the leather cuts are always really, really thin and sometimes really, really soft. And while they still can be used on court, it's not necessarily performance grade leather, which is what this is supposed to mimic or be more like. So that's why it's a little bit thicker. One of the things that I love though is that on the black portions at least, the polyurethane coating that gives it its texture and its overall like softness or feel feels really, really light on this one. And on top of that, it almost feels like an oiled leather. So it just feels much more premium than maybe it should, or even previous releases of the 85 cut Jordan 1 highs. So I really, really like that. The white leather feels pretty much on par with stuff that we've seen before like this. So I don't have any complaints or anything. I just think that the black leather is much nicer or softer feeling than anything else while still being on the thicker side of things. But outside of that, I think that these are awesome. They got the classic Wings logo at the collar. It's embossed instead of debossed like the Air Jordan 1 highs. And again, that's an OG 85 feature. You've got a much larger swoosh, which looks fantastic. And even if you were to, again, compare them to like this one right here, the neutral grays or the natural grays, whatever you want to call them, that little hole right there, it's more widely spaced on this one. It just looks way better, dude. Like, these are small things, but these small things are what gets me geeked out about stuff like this, because I know that you're like, oh man, another Air Jordan 1 or just another Air Jordan. Look, I get it, man. I got to talk about them all the time. It's rough. All I'm saying is that each of these small tweaks makes for a better product every time, and I'm here to appreciate that. As far as the fit is concerned, they do fit true to size. Whatever you typically order or wear with your Air Jordan 1s, that's exactly what I would get. And again, I find these to be way more comfortable than any other Air Jordan 1, mostly because of that polyurethane insole. It's just fantastic. The more that you wear it, the more that it breaks in. Same thing with the leather upper. Again, starts off a little bit stiff, but the more that you wear these bad boys, man, they look and they feel so good, and I love it. So with all that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. We greatly appreciate it. Let us know what you think about these down below in the comment section. Are you going after a pair? Are you not? These are way better than those Panda Dunks. I would tell you that right now. I know that the price is a little bit different, but you're getting what you pay for. The Panda Dunks are trash, okay? They look great, but the materials are hot garbage. But with that being said, thank you once again for being here. We'll catch you on the next one. So until next time, have a good one.